Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. I'm your host, John. Here with me today are Brian
Hey.
and Alex.
Hello.
This week, we've got a little bit of game news, and we'll be talking more Demon's Souls while we wait for Cyberpunk to get delayed again. But before we get to all of that, if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at npn.bz/Patreon. Thanks again to Jason K, Tom Z, Chris K, and Alan K for the contributions. We love all of our patrons equally, but those four we love even more because they give us more money. So
Equally, but
as
more.
always, what's that?
Equally, but more.
Yeah. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. We are Twitch affiliates. You can subscribe to us using your free Prime subscription if you'd like. If you have Amazon Prime and you are on Twitch. If you're not, if you don't have either of those things, then I wouldn't really bother. But that's you get a free subscription to any Twitch channel you want through Amazon Prime, which is pretty rad. So, Alex, any bumpers for the network?
Yes, the multi-medium feed is now launched. It should be available in your favorite podcatcher. If it is not, please let us know and we will get it there. But it is out on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, and Google Podcasts. So please go follow that, subscribe, and leave reviews if you can. That would be greatly appreciated. That's a multimedium, once again, or you can find it at multimediumpodcast.com. And I was on a show called DLC this week, so if you happen to be joining us from that show, you're welcome to our show, and I'm glad that you decided to check us out. But if you have not listened to my turn on DLC, please go back and check it out. It's a good time. We talked about Spider-Man Miles Morales and a bunch of other cool stuff. That's DLC with Jeff Kanata and Christian Spicer, and it was a great time. I'm grateful they had me on, and hopefully they'll have me back on in the future.
I think you did fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Especially considering how much you're like a fangirl for Jeff Kanata, and you didn't.
I really had to put it under control, and I think it worked out pretty well. It was hard for me to not be like, hey, you said this thing on like all of these other podcasts that I listened to you on, and I need to respond to them now because I'm talking to you as a person. You weren't like,
Jeff, I love your podcast.
I mean, I basically did that at PAX 26 or 2018 when I saw him after the We Have Concerns panel, but never mind that.
Yep. No, you're only stalking him. It's cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, Jeff.
Brian, what have you been playing, man?
Not very much, but
not?
It's all good now. I had more PC troubles and finally just took my new motherboard back and exchanged it for a better one. And now it's pretty awesome. However, I found out that my RAM was also a problem, but it's all good. It's working. It's great. I can play games again.
You should be like John and I, and whenever you do computer upgrades, just don't play your computer, and then you don't have any issues with any of this stuff.
Yeah, you upgrade and then you just put it in hibernation and you walk away from it for 6 months.
Buy a new console and then, play that instead.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like buying a new console is pretty difficult these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I already had to get the 2 parts for my computer that are difficult to get and accomplish that. So I don't want to go through that again. I'm done with that game. I just hope this goes well, like it has been. And hopefully Cyberpunk will run very well and I'll be happy and barely talk to anyone for a couple weeks while I play that. But yeah, honestly, all I've really played is some Destiny Beyond Light, of course. I did the new raid with the clan ritual.
How was it?
And that was pretty fun. It's very visually stimulating for sure. I don't really want to spoil it for people, but it goes somewhere that I didn't expect it to go setting wise. And the music that accompanies it there, that section of the raid is just fantastic. Gave me goosebumps. And yeah, pretty cool. And
Were you
I
doing
tried
it?
out a
Were you in the like world first crew that they were
oh
trying to?
no.
Okay, this
My
was
computer was
that.
basically dead that weekend.
That's true.
So
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, we did it Friday night, I think. But
Nice.
like everybody that was involved like knew their shit pretty well, so it didn't really take that long, honestly.
Did you have to shoot up dog at any point? Bottom dog, actually. Sorry.
No bottom dog.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bummer.
That's a
Actually,
joke for
you
these
can't shoot
3
bottom
people.
dog anymore because that raid is not in the game anymore.
What a bummer.
So bizarre.
Oh no, let's not go there.
Inside joke.
Aside from that, when I was testing my PC for stability, because the problem I was having was causing my computer to straight up shut off during.
You mean like by pushing it off the desk again, or what?
No,
what kind of stability
problems?
Here?
Yeah,
not physical stability, but electronic stability, I guess. Anyways, I did successfully complete a short flight in Flight Simulator, which is sweet. Like it runs so well on the new Ryzen chips. Like, yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's like playing a different game almost, which is crazy because even like on my 3080 on my old processor, it was just like not very good.
I still have not booted it up since getting my 3080, so I should do that soon, but it is getting VR support on December 22nd for all headsets.
Nice.
All the big VR headsets.
The downside is that was on my last motherboard that I got to do that successful flight, and then I ran another game and my computer shut off right away. So it wasn't fixed. I was pissed. But I got to see Flight Simulator in all its glory for a whole half hour.
That's good.
Then when I went to reinstall it on this system, it doesn't download the updates now. It just like logs me in and out constantly inside the game. So I still can't play Flight Simulator.
Well, that's fun.
Whatever.
I think a lot of the problems are with Flight Simulator itself. It's not like they've ironed out all the kinks from that one as of yet.
This specific problem I know is not my system. It is Flight Simulators or my Microsoft account. So I'll have to figure that out some other time. But yeah, everything else I've tested works really well. I'm pleased.
That's good.
And yeah, that's about it for me, really.
All right.
I just installed Monster Hunter on the PS5.
Nice. That's free on the PlayStation Collection, I believe, correct?
Yeah. I only got like through the intro section. I haven't actually fucking done anything. Like I literally haven't done anything in it yet, but I installed it. I tried playing some more Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and I just that game is not as fun by yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like it's way better with a crew and hunting Terminators and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's beyond that. I've played a lot of Demon Souls. I don't know if we want to jump into that now, or if you have other stuff you want to touch before we talk about Demon Souls.
I can, yeah. Let me go through some of my stuff real quick. I did finish Spider-Man Miles Morales. You can hear even a little spoiler chat after the end of DLC from this past week if you want to go and hear spoilery thoughts on that. But once again, it is very good. My only real complaint about it is that it feels a little bit rushed. Like they could have spent more time with Miles and the story, and I think it would have benefited from it. Because the original PS4 Spider-Man was quite long, 20-something hours, and got quite a bit of time to go places with the characters, and I feel like this one did not really luxuriate in that. And I think some of the character development kind of suffered because of that. But still very good, worth checking out. I did end up switching it to 60 frames per second, and that buttery smooth travel with that game is pretty incredible. But it's kind of a toss-up for me. I think I've gone back and forth on Miles Morales and on Demon Souls in terms of like frame rate versus the cinematic mode or fidelity mode. And things look real pretty in the 30 frames per second, and it still plays pretty well. You know, I'm bad at Demon Souls regardless of what the frame rate is, so that doesn't really matter much. But yeah,
I don't I don't know, man. Like I flipped through performance mode and graphics mode or whatever they're called, cinematic and
fidelity, I think, is
fidelity.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I flipped between those two in Demon Souls. The only difference I can personally notice is that the fidelity version is choppy as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like that buttery smooth 60 frames a second makes a huge difference in my perception of how good a game looks.
Yeah, I'll say it's certainly the 30 frames per second fidelity mode in Spider-Man, and it's the cinematic mode in Demon Souls, I believe it's called, is 30 frames per second. Spider-Man, it's a lot more noticeable because you've got more reflections off of glass windows and like wet streets and things like that. Whereas in Demon Souls, I feel like the light sources and things like that, I mean, there's plenty of torches and things around, but they're not really reflecting all that much. So I don't think it makes as big of a difference with Demon Souls as it does with Spider-Man. I can agree with you on that, but...
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, even in like certain areas of Demon Souls, though, like in the prison area, there's lots of really cool glowing surfaces and objects and things like that that like look really pretty, no matter which version you're in. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know if you've messed with the filters because it does have like the visual filters that you can flip through too.
Yeah, I
like
haven't.
The vivid one, man, it makes those colors look so good.
I'm
like
sure.
it's kind of ridiculous.
Probably looks quite good with HDR. Real quick, they did release the update so that you can upload your Spider-Man PS4 save from the PS4 version and then download it into the PS5 remastered version now. And so I've started going through some of the DLC of Spider-Man from PS4 on PS5, and it's okay so far. I played through the first set. There's 3 of them. So we'll see how that goes. Looks very pretty. But I will say the PlayStation family save transfer stuff sounds like it sucks compared to what's on the Microsoft systems, where it just kind of downloads it from your cloud saves and it's not an issue. So, Microsoft has done a good job of making me want to buy an Xbox, other than the fact that there's like no real reason for me to do so. So hopefully Sony learns from
they've
those
just
things.
Created a more cohesive ecosystem.
For sure. And I wish Sony would have done the same thing, and they didn't. But
that's the thing is Sony doesn't want a cohesive ecosystem. Like they didn't if they wanted it to be cohesive for Miles Morales, like why wouldn't they have just included that ability right from the get-go instead of waiting until people complained about it?
Well,
the
yeah,
save game,
I think it was actually in Miles Morales itself. You could, if you bought Miles Morales on PS4, your save would transfer. I don't know if you have to do like the upload and download thing that you do with PS4 with the Spider-Man, with the original Spider-Man game. It's hard to fucking talk about that game because it's not the original Spider-Man game. It certainly isn't the first one. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you would think that Sony would have understood that, like, hey, this is going to be a thing right now. And, like, maybe it can fall by the wayside later when there aren't as many games that are straddling both generations. But I don't know. Microsoft's philosophy of, like, hey, we're going to actually download the version of the game that's going to look best on the system that you're on, which I've heard some people have had trouble with that on PS5, which is weird to me.
What are the chances that they wanted to have the straddling of generations solely because they knew right off the bat that they were not going to be able to have enough hardware available to make people happy?
Maybe.
Maybe, but also, like, I don't really think that jives with, like, hey, guess what? Horizon Forbidden West is also going to be on PS4. Like, I think they were doing a bit of a hey, me too, with respect to like Microsoft's, guess what? Halo Infinite's going to be on both systems at launch, and guess what? It's on neither. But I don't know. Like, I don't really know. I think it's mostly just kind of we want to be able to have this interplay between all of the stuff because we need you to see they're trying to make it the least path of resistance. They want to say, hey, buy games right now. You'll be able to play them on the PS5 when you get your PS5. If they really want it to be fully least path of resistance, I think they should have figured out a way to do the same thing that Microsoft is doing with the cloud saves. Because it's not like I didn't have my PS4 Spider-Man save up in the PlayStation Cloud. Like, it was there.
Right.
But you had to go into a PlayStation 4 version of the game and upload it to then pull it down into the PlayStation 5 version of the game, which tells you that there's some sort of like reorganization of how the data works or something like that. Maybe the way that games are saved on PS5 fundamentally changed from the way it was done on PS4.
Yeah, probably because it probably feeds into the fast loading time bullshit, you know?
Maybe, yeah. But then you would also think that they would want to do that work to make sure that you could go back and forth between the two the way that it sounds like it works with Microsoft. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Sony's expecting you to flip-flop between your PS4 and your PS5 like on the regular. Whereas like Microsoft, they want you to be able to play on your Xbox One, your Xbox Series X, your cell phone, your computer. They want you to be able to play from all of these different devices all the time without having any limitation as to what, version of the game or save game you're playing.
Yeah, that's true. They certainly have more of a reason to do it with things like xCloud, right? If your xCloud save,
yeah,
that's the
well, and just
the
like
big
they were
issue
just
we
talking about this week in like an interview, I think Phil Spencer said that they're trying to make an app for Android TVs. Like,
yeah. Well,
so
for a lot of TVs, actually. I think.
for any TV really, but like, I mean, most of the TVs are Android TVs because like it's all built in or whatever now. Like Apple TV, you have to buy a different device for. Android TV is built into like pretty much every fucking smart TV that's out right now.
Yeah.
But to be able to have that app on those platforms, you want to be able to pull your save games from wherever. Like, I've got Sea of Thieves on my PC, and I had Sea of Thieves on my Xbox. Xbox is now sold, RIP. But I could pull up my same Sea of Thieves account on my television downstairs if there's an app for it, which my TV is a Sony TV, so the chances of them putting that app on that TV is slim to none. Just like I can't have the fucking Comcast app on that TV.
That's stupid.
Yeah, no, Sony sucks. But
maybe it's because Comcast sucks and they don't want to have anything to do with them.
Also,
no, because Sony was offering their own PlayStation TV thing or whatever, so they didn't want you to be able to use Comcast on your television.
Well, not anymore. So
yeah, it's gone now. But anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah, Spider-Man, all that stuff is good. The only other thing
is that came out in 2019, right? So you should just call it Spider-Man 2019, much like we did Tomb Raider 2013.
I think it's 2018, but yeah, you're right. Spider-Man 2018, yeah. Spider-Man I've been calling it Spider-Man PS4 because it's the one Spider-Man game that came out on PS4. But anyway,
you could just be more Midwestern and call it Spider-Man's.
The Spider-Man's.
Yeah, I'm playing that Spider-Man's game.
Played a demo of it at the Walmarts.
The only other thing that I have played is a little bit of Bugsnax, which is free.
Did play some Bugsnax.
I did play a little bit. I didn't play enough to really say that we would like talk about it today, but Bugsnax is interesting.
I've heard that Bunger is like the funniest thing ever.
Bungers are pretty cool. Bungers are little Bunger. Burger and fry like dudes that will like ram into. Anyway, so it's a first person perspective game where you are basically finding these Pokemon out in the world that you can capture using traps and other techniques to feed them to the villagers basically. And when you feed them to the villagers, their body parts change into parts of the thing that they ate.
That's weird.
But there's like a quest system of like, hey, go and find this type of Bugsnax, or go and do this thing with this person. And some of the Bugsnax you can actually plant in the ground to grow more Bugsnax and other stuff like that. So it's fun. I don't necessarily know that it's going to capture my attention too much, but it was when I needed to rage quit Demon's Souls, it was a nice change of pace to be like, all right, I just lost 12,000 souls. I'm just going to play some Bugsnax because I'm too angry to continue playing Demon's Souls right now. So Bugsnax is interesting. It is free on PS4 and PS5 through at least tomorrow, I believe. So even if you are downloading and hearing this, if you're listening to it on the first day that it's available, it should still be available to you if you have PlayStation Plus. So
Sweet.
Demon Souls.
Talk about Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, Brian,
Should I
how
ask
far
you
are
guys
you?
Brian, yeah,
questions?
what are your thoughts about Demon Souls, Brian?
My thoughts are I hope to play it someday when I actually get a PS5.
You shouldn't. It's fucking terrible.
Sometime next year, I would like a PS5, I think.
I mean, if they're available.
I mean, like later in the year when Horizon comes out.
Yeah.
If it comes out. But anyways. So like on a scale of 1 to Bloodborne, which do you think is more difficult?
I think this one is. Because there's way fewer checkpoints for you to go back and spend your damn souls.
Yeah.
Like, you literally only get checkpoints whenever you defeat a boss. And the thing that I was angry with yesterday was that I was playing in a level that had so much vertical traversal that there wasn't even really a way for me to return back, to go back to the one Archstone, which is the checkpoint, to get back to the Nexus to spend my souls. Like, I couldn't do it, so I was going to have to push forward to fight the boss. So instead, I was like trying to explore everywhere in the area just to figure out the way to get back up to the Archstone. And I'm fairly looking at the maps that people have made, I'm fairly certain there's no way to do it. Like, you're just basically, you have to go forward at that point. So instead of, doing that and fighting the boss, I ended up dying on like a trap that blew me up in the caves that I was in. And then I died again. So I lost all those 12,000 souls that I collected.
You were were you in the prison for that?
No, so they number the Archstones 1 through 5, and then they have, I think, 5 subsections per Archstone. So that was 2-2. That is the area that you unlock after you beat the armor spider. Yeah.
Okay.
The tunnels that are in there.
You went to the prison, right?
I have. Yeah, I spent some time at the prison, and I also dipped my toe in the island on the 4th one so that I could get a really cool weapon that's close to the beginning.
Oh, with the skeletons?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck those skeletons too. Also, by the way, like the only game in all of existence where the skeletons move faster than the fucking player.
Yeah, they.
Well, that's because they're lighter than actual humans now.
Well, no,
they don't have
all that
tendons.
weight.
They don't have any tendons or muscles.
Even better.
Those skeletons are so aggro that they just terrified the shit out of me the first time through. But the secret is you should take a mace or a hammer type weapon.
The Morning Star, like blunt weapons, Morning Stars, clubs, maces, hammers.
That's classic video game or role playing it. Like,
well, fire magic also is very helpful.
That doesn't make any sense. That's atypical for fire.
What are you talking? Burning like bones, dry ass bones aren't gonna like engulf themselves in flames.
Okay, I guess.
Anyway, fuck those skeletons.
Yeah, they
because
suck.
everything you read online, all the tutorials are like go to 4-1,
get the crescent
just grind
falchion.
the skeletons at the beginning. Yeah. And you'll get souls out just pouring out your ass. And what they don't tell you is those skeletons are so goddamn fast and hard that it's next to impossible to grind because you get frustrated. Like you basically what it ends up being is like you go there, you kill the first skeleton because you have the area to like maneuver yourself around to not get fucked up by him. You collect his souls, you move on to the next skeleton, and then you drag him back into the first area and you kill him. And then you go and you fight the one skeleton with the arrows there. And then there's another skeleton at the top of the stairs who comes down and just whoops your ass right there. So like those souls are just boom. You got a pile of souls just chilling there. So then you die and then you come back and you fight the first skeleton again.
And he fucking kills you because
and then you grab your pile of souls again before the third skeleton kills you. Like it's such a, it's so fucking aggravating.
You can pull that third skeleton or the one at the stairs all the way back to the start too. It's just, it takes a long time, but
Yeah, but they make you like you get kind of like cocky. You're like, oh, I'm good at this now, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
like, you suck. You
Well,
suck so hard at this game.
Just FYI, because you're playing as a royal like I am too. Right?
I've started like 8 times.
Oh,
I've
okay.
restarted. I can blow through the first area 1-1 like nobody's business now. And it doesn't matter what class I am. Like I can handle that. That's not a problem. But beyond that, like because I've just wanted to try different play styles because there's like the royal class, like you start with some magic and you have like the rapier, which is like a fairly decent weapon because piercing damage is like pretty good if you get like piercing. Depending on the enemies, especially in the Stone Gulch mine or whatever, like the piercing weapons are the best against those little cave dudes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like trying the different classes to see how they fare. And like magic definitely feels like cheating to some extent. But magic is super helpful in the prison against the mind flayers because fuck those guys. And like everything, like they launch one attack at you and it paralyzes you. And then while you're paralyzed, they come up and they just like fucking eat your brains. Like,
Yep.
Yum.
Anyways, this game's beautiful. But it's so hard.
It is very difficult.
And I know everybody out there's just, oh, you
get good.
Get good. Like, yeah, get good, sure. But I clearly just don't have the reaction time to play these games right. I don't know. They're so difficult for me.
I just feel like I don't know. The weird thing about it is there's just some part of me that is even averse to the idea of like, I'm going to walk at an enemy with my shield up. Because that's what you should do, you know? If you walk at somebody with your shield up,
you might as well use it.
And they attack your shield, then they get a little bit of a stun and you can usually get a hit or two in, and then you back off and you'll probably be fine. But I'm just so ridiculously impatient that I have to go the other direction and be super patient because I'll just like spend like 30 minutes on one of the... Have you fought any of the like fire slug dudes in 2-2 yet?
I haven't been to 2-2 yet. I was following one of the walkthroughs that was like do 1-1 and then 2-1 and then go to 3-1.
Okay.
Basically.
So
I was just going to say real quick, there's these fire slug dudes that take a shitload of hits, whether you're doing magic damage or physical damage. And so I just sit there and spend my whole MP bar casting soul arrow at these guys. And then I have to wait 30 minutes while my MP recharges and then continue doing that.
What kind of weapon are you using? The rapier still?
No, I have the Crescent Falchion now, which is that's in 4-1. You can get it if you go, the stairs where the skeleton was killing you?
Yeah.
Have you made it all the way up there where there's the 2 archers on top of the gateway? The fog gateway? So if you go through the fog gateway and immediately turn left, you can walk in the castle wall. And then there's a trap in there. You should hold your shield up while you're walking forward. You'll stop the arrows from killing you. But once you come out of there, there's a skeleton with red eyes who really will destroy you. But if you're kind of good, you can beat him. And then he's guarding basically a body that has the Crescent Falchion in it. And that is a sword. It's a Crescent Falchion +1, so it's already upgraded, and its attack scales with your magic rather than your strength. So if you have a magic character, then it will do a good amount of damage.
Yeah, because my magic's currently at like 19 points, I think.
Yeah. So
I don't
Brian,
know.
you had a question?
I 2-hit the mind flayers in the prison with fireball right now. So
oh, nice. I still have been using soul arrow on them, and it usually takes like 4, I think. So maybe
do you know where to get fireball?
Yeah, I think so. In one of the vendors in the Nexus.
Yeah, the dude in the Nexus. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do that then. Brian, what was?
No, I mean I can. Yeah, Brian, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just wondering, like, well, Alex, you played Sekiro.
I did
a decent amount, and you guys obviously both played Bloodborne. Does this game feel like a lot different since it came before all those games, and those games reward like a faster, more aggressive play style? Would you say this rewards patience more? Or I don't know.
I think patience allows you to not get as aggravated.
I think that's the weird thing. Like Bloodborne, you were able to parry with the gun. This you can parry with a shield if you want to. It's also not completely necessary. Sekiro, I think, feels like parrying is much more imperative to be able to actually like do well at the game. So I think they're different in that respect. But I also feel as though, at least with the enemies that I've encountered right now, that if I were more patient, I wouldn't really have trouble with any of them. But instead, because I just get flustered, like with what John has said, with like, you know, the Mind Flayer's coming after you and he's going to cast a paralyze spell, and you've also already opened up all those cells in the prison level, so those guys will also run out at you and start to attack you. Like, I think the more patient you are, the better you can kind of deal with things in this game. But I would also say that about Bloodborne too. Like, I guess I was never particularly an aggressive player in Bloodborne, and maybe that was to my own detriment. But I think a lot of these games do teach you about patience if you're there to listen to it. And I think you can get to a point where you can be more aggressive with them, but it's a play style thing, and I think it's cool that the game kind of accommodates both. But
yeah,
you know, I'd be curious to hear what like a real veteran like Zach would say about the differences between Demon's Souls, and whether or not Demon's Souls PS5 feels any different to PS3. But I can't really speak to that.
Yeah,
cool.
I just it is a rewarding experience, like playing through areas of this game and accomplishing things and like figuring out the puzzles. And like I like the sense of discovery you get from like being able to like look across an area and see like the little glowing orb that there's an item on some dead body. And like 20 minutes later, you've gone through how many different passageways, and all of a sudden you're across the map, like on that little glowing orb that you saw earlier. Like the game has this, it's a different kind of reward system than like other games have. I think that's why I like these games. I like the sense of discovery and
Unlocking
just exploration.
shortcuts is extremely satisfying too.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Like unlocking those shortcuts is great. It's like I mean, From Software made Kingsfield. I know we've talked about Kingsfield a few times before, which is honestly one of the hardest first person RPG games I think exists, that like all throughout time. And like I would be interested, I would love to play some form of remaster of Kingsfield like with this in mind, because I honestly I can't even really remember how. I just remember like getting murdered by skeletons in that game.
Yeah.
All the time.
I heard there's
But
also a weapon that is in all of the games. It's in Kingsfield and in Demon's Souls and Bloodborne. Like, I think there's a particular weapon that makes it's like it's something Sword of the Moon or something like that. I can't remember what it's called.
So they're all tied to the same universe.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. See, I love that kind of stuff, which is that's so indicative of the franchise.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
I don't know. I know I get really angry at this game, but I do, like, I keep coming back to it even though it pisses me off. Like,
same.
I think that says something. I've had zero desire to play Valhalla, and I've had zero desire to go back and play more of Godfall, because this game is just, it has a different in like level of intrigue and attachment to it, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't
know how to explain it.
realize you even had Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because you haven't
Yeah,
talked about it at all.
I tried playing it, and I got like the intro was like an hour-long cinematic with very little like movement, where you're just literally moving your character as a child through like a crowd of people for like 20 minutes. And then there's like dialogue and cinematic, and then there's like a big epic like battle thing that happens. And it was so boring to have to sit through that. And then they're just like, okay, we're gonna dump you in the middle of the wilderness with no gear, and you got to go find your gear and your people or whatever. And I was just like not into it. But I don't know. I'm sure if I would have spent more time with
patience.
No, Demon's Souls puts you right into it, you know? Like, you literally like boot up the game, and it's like you've got your armor, you have your weapons. You don't have to go pick up a fucking gun somewhere. You just go and you fight. There's like,
I mean, there are
cinematic,
cinematics, but you can skip them. And like, the problem I think with Valhalla was that I don't know if I'm just not, maybe I'm just not into the Nordic thing, I guess. I don't know. The Norse mythology like doesn't do anything for me. It was cool for God of War, but it also wasn't the focus of God of War really. Like it kind of was, but you're playing as Kratos. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I wasn't really into it. That doesn't mean I don't want to go back and try and play more of Valhalla. I just don't have any inclination to play it right now because I'm so sucked into Demon Souls and like trying to get good, and just that repeated like die repeat like methodology of that game. Like, I literally like when was it, last night or maybe 2 nights ago, I was in the prisons and I ran past this one cell that had like 7 or 8 prisoners in it that I had already opened, and they all came running out and I wasn't paying attention, and they basically just mauled me. Like you get in like the stun lock, and like when you're getting hit repeatedly by like 8 different characters at the same time, like you're basically fucked. Like there's nothing you can do. If you get surrounded by enough of them and you can't get out of the stun lock to get one swipe in to like dodge roll out or whatever, you're pretty much fucked. And that happened. And as soon as I died, I was like, fuck this game. And I had only played for 10 minutes and I turned it off and I walked away from it. And I was like, I'm done with this shit. And then 20 minutes later, I was turning it back on and being like, all right, fuck these guys. I'm going to get them this time.
I did that 4 times yesterday. I'm pretty sure.
You probably did it your first try.
Yeah, but because I knew what to expect. Like before, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't being patient. Like, but I ended up working my way through the prison up to the first prison boss, which I tried to fight today, and I failed miserably at that. And those little messages that people leave you, like there's one right outside the prison boss that was like, "This is easy," and I'm like, "Okay, like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. These people are all fucking liars, basically." And so then I jumped.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Then I jump into this fight against the prison boss, which is like this wizard chick who like, she can make little pods on the ground, like those little paralyzation pods, like the mind flayers do. And then she just like launches like soul arrows at you. And like, you're pretty much fucked. Like if you get caught in one of those traps, you're done. Like it's just like,
there's also something else really dumb about that fight, and I am hesitating from telling you, but I also know that if I don't tell you and you go through with this fight and you haven't done this thing, then you're probably just going to put the game down and never play it again. So
the part where she splits into multiplications of herself?
No, the part
very
where
spoilery.
The part where she's probably going to come back to life as soon as you kill her, and she will continue doing so until you do something.
Oh no, I killed that guy already.
You killed the Fool's Idol dude? Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good. Good.
I loved how in Bloodborne there were like secret objects you could find that would make boss fights like way easier.
Yeah, and I honestly, that's the thing, is that so I managed to one-shot both Armor Spider and Tower Knight, but it's only because I've heard other people talking about them. I never would have been able to do it if I hadn't heard other podcasts talking about how they fought those bosses. But they all seem to have some type of technique or trick that seems honestly pretty cheesy, but makes the fight kind of trivial.
The fool's idol one, like the main trick that I read about was using a 2-handed weapon will just destroy her in seconds.
Well,
and
I've heard that.
And I'm sitting here like, oh, cool, a 2-handed weapon for my character who's fucking magic based.
Yeah,
like that's great.
Well,
and then they're just like, well, you could whittle away with her using your magic by hiding behind the pillars. And I'm like, cool, because that really rewards my impatience, is to have to fucking stand behind these pillars and like do that shit. I mean, I had to do the same thing for the giant knight dude or whatever, but.
So I didn't. Yeah. I actually managed to fight the Tower Knight by toppling him off of his feet, which I think was really good. Like honestly, like if you go and attack his feet and get him on the ground, I was able to walk up to his head and beat him down to half life immediately, and then you just do it one more time and he's gone.
Damn.
But the spider, I literally just sat on the left side of the tunnel and cast Soul Arrow at it over and over again and fired arrows at it, and eventually it died. And I don't know, there's part of me that like is super impatient and wants to get up there and like beat the crap out of something, but there's also a part of me that's like, I can grab a snack and sit here and keep pressing R1, and eventually I'm gonna beat this monster and get a big soul and a lot of souls that I can go spend on leveling up. So it's kind of like there's like a duality for me. There's like a fine, there's some sort of tipping point where it's like, all right, if I'm not going to be able to beat the crap out of this thing handily, then I might as well sit there for 30 minutes and spend all of my time casting spells at it. Right. So I don't know. It just depends on how you do it. But the game's infuriating. I don't ever want to play it again, but I'm also going to play it later. So
yeah, I know. As soon as we're done, I'm probably going to play it some more.
I'm just thinking like, damn, I should probably reinstall Sekiro because I never really played much of that. Yeah. Just listening to you talk about this, it's like the closest thing I have to it that I can play on my PC.
Well, I think Dark Souls 3 was on sale. It's always on sale, I feel like. And Dark Souls 3 is fantastic. Like, I
got pretty far on that. Well, I mean, to my standards, I beat several bosses on the PlayStation 4. I didn't get as far as I did in Bloodborne, though. But
there's part of me that wants to go back to Bloodborne and give it a try, and I do really, really, really like Sekiro, and I would like to play more of that too. But you know, I don't know. Like eventually, I think I'll get there. But yeah, Demon Souls, like this is the most amount of bosses I've beaten in any Souls like.
I agree. This game does feel slightly easier than the others, I think, but I don't know why. Like I can't quite figure out why that
honestly, the magic alone for me is a big thing, because the fact that I can like one or two shot a lot of the really like weaker dudes and just kind of keep my distance and be okay.
Yeah.
It just like my problem with these games is like getting into a situation and then just getting completely like frenzied and like unsure of what to do and mashing all the buttons and not being the patient, like calculated person that I should be to win these fights. So the idea that I have the ability to just stay far away and chip away, like it's not even like the gun in Bloodborne, because like the guns in Bloodborne don't really do anything, you know, for the most part.
No, they're great for like aggro, and they're great for like parrying, and that's about it. Like they don't serve they're not good for like picking off enemies from afar. Like that is not their purpose.
But the soul arrow magic that you start out with the royal will just destroy most of those things in like a couple hits.
Surprisingly strong.
And your MP regenerates with the ring that you get as the royal as well. So it's not like,
but it takes a fucking hour.
It takes forever, but you know what? Go grab a sandwich, go get some crackers and cheese, have a little hummus and pita or something, and then come on back and destroy more skeletons or whatever.
Have yourself a little Demon Souls picnic.
Maybe a leftover turkey sandwich.
We should make a Demon Souls cookbook.
This is what you eat while you're waiting for your MP to revive.
Yes.
Oh man,
yeah. It sounds cool though.
Good game, very very good game. Fun to play, super aggravating, very pretty. The music is unbelievably awesome.
Might be one of the best launch titles. Period. You know.
Yeah,
like
I would say so, especially in terms of like how complete it feels and like not buggy. I mean, I haven't run into any bugs.
It's one of those games, like if you go and like boot up Killzone Shadowfall or something from the early PS4, like Knack, I guess, I don't know. you see where you're like, yeah, this feels like the beginning of a generation, and I can see how much progress we've had between this and something like The Last of Us Part 2. With Demon Souls, I'm like, where do they go from here? Like, how does it look better than this? How does it, like, what? It's just one of those things where it's like, if this is what we have right now on this system and things are still going to get as good, like, what is The Last of Us Part 2 to this Killzone Shadowfall?
Yeah.
I can't even comprehend what that's going to be. So
I'll be straight with you guys. Like, I am seriously tempted to switch my Cyberpunk pre-order again.
Are you kidding me? Just sell your PC.
No, I like the PC, but I don't know, man. Like the PC for me is more of like a I built this PC originally to play Rainbow Six. Let's be honest. Like I wanted to play Rainbow Six PC with my homies. because we were all just like, we got so into it on console that we were just like, oh man, Get Flanked plays on PC. We should get on PC. It was what it felt like. And then
It's
all of a sudden,
definitely
all of a
best
sudden we
on
all had
PC.
PCs and we're playing it on PC. And like, I want to play, like, we all downloaded Elite Dangerous. I want to play Elite Dangerous on PC. Like, I want to play all the multiplayer games. I would love to play on PC. Like, the consoles are, I think, built mainly for me to play single player games on. So,
but seriously, John, like, honestly, I have an HDMI cable here that's big enough that would get from your TV to your PC.
Yeah, your TV is like right next to your computer. I have one that's long enough too, I think. It's just sitting around.
it's like 10, 15 feet difference, man.
Yeah, and I can like, but seriously, then you like, and you can probably just hook up your PS5 controller to Cyberpunk and play it that way.
If you buy it through Steam, it's already supported officially through Steam.
Yeah,
the PS5 controller.
So just keep it on PC, and it's gonna look better, and you'll like it. It'll be good. Don't worry about it.
Or sell your 3080 and buy me a PlayStation 5. And then keep the rest of the money for yourself.
Don't do that.
I don't know about that.
But
if I sold the 3080, I'd probably buy a new 3D printer.
There you go. And a cheap video card, so you can.
I got my eyes on that Snapmaker 2.0 with the 3D printer, laser etching, and CNC router.
We should probably just try to get more 3080s so we can sell it and buy a Glowforge.
Now you're talking.
I don't know if it's
a 3080. Glowforge is a hobbyist, slightly hobbyist, like kind of semi-pro laser cutter. And
So,
like the big one, you can cut some serious shit on the big one.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
anyways,
all right.
Besides the point, let's talk about some game news. Everybody go buy a PS5 and Demon's Souls.
Yeah, do that.
If you can find it.
If you can.
Go sleep outside at GameStop with your mattress like all those other people do.
6 feet apart from the other people.
All right. First up, I don't know how this looks fine. All right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Red Dead Online is going to be released as its own game starting December 1st. That is this Tuesday. It's going to be at a 75% discount until February 15th. So it is normally $20, but it will be $5 at launch on PS.
See, I'll pay $5 to have this on my PC.
PS4, PC, and Xbox One. Yeah, I traded in my Red Dead 2, and so this seems like a good option to continue playing it if Nick and the crew would be down to do some online stuff. But honestly,
they're just going to get it on PlayStation 4, though.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't need to buy this game on PC. I mean, it's Red Dead Online. Like, who cares? But anyway.
It's only $5. Just get it on both.
Yeah, you could get it on your
PS5
and on PC.
Here's the thing. I had such a bad time playing it the last time that we played that I literally never played it again and was like, okay, I could live with not ever playing this.
I've honestly, like, everybody that I know that has played it says it kind of sucks, but
yeah, I'd much rather play some Grand Theft Auto 5 and, start dropping my submarine out of the sky with the I don't know, the sky winch. What the hell is it called? Can't remember. Anyway,
the best experience we had with Red Dead Online was, pushing the bear into the lake like old times.
Yeah.
And then getting all the horses on the train, and then somebody's like fell off on a mountain, I think it was, or something. He got hit by the train.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we can have that type of dumb fun with Grand Theft Auto 5 as well. But I don't know. Either way, this is cool that they're splitting it out like this. They said it's gonna take 123 gigs of storage, so that might figure into your calculus a little bit about if you want to buy it or not. And of course, the PS5 and Series X will be able to play the PS4 and Xbox One versions in backwards compatibility. So they're also going to offer an option that will unlock the story mode separately. So if you do buy the online and decide you want the story mode, you can do that. And they've introduced things called roles where you basically can get jobs and record, like, do different things. There's like survivalist one, but the one that they're focusing on soon will be the bounty hunter. And there's going to they're going to release more fugitives that you can go and capture basically to increase your bounty hunter level. And, it sounds like there's some actual progression to the online, which was not even there the last time I played.
Earn a Mandalorian skin?
Not that I know of, but they should probably work that in there. That would be pretty good.
Just let it play the Mandalorian theme song when I'm fucking doing a showdown with somebody.
That'd be pretty good. So that'll be out there.
If you play on PC, you just set your own music up in the background.
True.
I get it, Brian. You want me to play on PC? God.
Or you could be like when Gojo plays as Jason in Friday the 13th and just play the John Cena theme music whenever he's, so whenever he randomly appears next to you and you hear the John Cena theme, you're like, fuck, Jason's here somewhere. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, if I can bring myself to try to figure out the reCAPTCHA for Rockstar Social Online, whatever, for PC again, then I will probably pick this up for $5 just to see what it looks like, honestly.
Well, you'll just have to suppress your robot tendencies and try to get through it.
It's so difficult. They have the shittiest, lowest resolution pictures.
I have not tried.
I don't understand.
So.
Maybe I need to get a monocle or like a magnifying glass or something.
Yeah, they just want you to get in character. So
there might be a Windows accessibility magnify thing I can install that would help.
Yes, hold Alt F4 and it'll zoom in, Brian. Anyway.
Yeah.
A couple streaming hits here real quick. Google Stadia is making its way to iOS soon. Several weeks from now, they're going to put out public testing for iOS, which will be cool. Much like the Amazon Luna service that I talked about previously. And then I guess
3 weeks after that, they will shut down Stadia for all platforms.
Yeah, well, they do have a deal right now. If you purchase Cyberpunk 2077 on the Stadia service, you will get a Stadia Premier Edition for free. That's the bundle that gives you a Google Chromecast Ultra and a Stadia controller so that you can play it on TV. That's running through December 18th. That's the thing that John and I bought for like $120 or whatever it was.
They're also giving them away for free to anybody who already pays for YouTube Premium.
Okay. Yeah. So
you can get a free premium edition Stadia.
Nice. And so that will also, you'll I think Destiny 2 New Light is going to be free starting on November 19th, so that's out there already.
Beyond Light?
No, this is New Light. That's going to be free.
Oh, so just the base vanilla game that's free anyways?
They're making it free to all players. As of right now, or as of like prior to this, you had to pay for Pro in order to get Destiny.
Oh,
so now
okay.
What they're saying is you can get just the base game New Light without having to pay for the subscription.
So you can basically use Stadia for free without buying anything if you play it on your PC.
Okay.
So at least that'll be a thing starting the 19th, which was this past week. But anyway, Google Stadia looks like they're starting to finally build out how the ways that you can play. Getting to iOS, I think, will be a big thing. But I mean, honestly, and John, like the thing that you brought up, I guess I have another little story here, which is GeForce Now also brought their iOS solution to Safari. So you can go to play.geforcenow.com on your iPhone or iPad and play your GeForce Now games, which I haven't even used since we got that free year of it with the 3080. But
oh yeah, I haven't tried it yet either.
The interesting thing,
there's no point in using those sorts of services like in your own home when you have access to your console or your computer. It just doesn't make sense. If you're on the go, which
Steam Link.
None of us are really on the go right now, it would make more sense then. Like if Alex, was taking a trip to Japan for whatever reason for work and he, wanted to play something on his Steam account, he could do that through GeForce Now or whatever. But
Yeah, well, and there was also like I remember back when I was like really, really deep into Destiny 2, like pulling out the Vita to play some Destiny while
On
laying
the
in bed
toilet.
or whatever was totally
Yeah,
great.
no, grinding light, like while you're just doing your thing, like
Doing some
whatever.
dailies or whatever, I think works out pretty well.
Yeah, like when Stadia first came out and I was working downtown and like I was doing like a pop-up shop inside the shipping company and nobody was paying attention to me, like I sat there and played Destiny for who knows how long. You know?
Yeah.
The only people who came up to me were the people who were like, "Hey, is that Google Stadia?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Do you want to buy some of my wares?" And they were like, "No." But how does the Stadia work? And I'm like, it works. And they're like, "Cool, man. That's awesome." And then they would just walk away.
Well, Google should have set you up as a Stadia dealer inside there.
Listen, any game company that wants to set me up with anything that you want me to shill, I promise you I will be able to sell it to anybody.
Well, all right. And on the topic
I'm a
of what
really
John
fucking
said,
good salesman.
I don't have the story pulled up, but with Microsoft basically saying they're going to start looking into making standalone TV apps for Xbox, for xCloud.
Ooh.
That's the type of thing that I'm really interested in. You know, Google Stadia off of the Chromecast is cool, but I kind of don't really want the Chromecast taking up a slot on my HDMI's and that type of thing. It'd be sweet if I could just download an app on my Apple TV or on my TV itself to play Google Stadia, which I think is something that they probably want to get to eventually. And it sounds like Microsoft is investigating that. So the idea that I'd be able to play the xCloud games on my TV with an Xbox controller or whatever sounds pretty great. And I think it would be nice to get there. And that's essentially getting to the point where they're like, you don't really need to buy an Xbox at all. Here, just play these games on your TV with our service.
Since you can't buy an Xbox at all,
Yeah.
here, go ahead and play this on
Yeah,
your
probably
TV.
till next year.
Yeah.
How weird would it be if they end up with an xCloud app on the PlayStation 5 and you could use an Xbox controller?
Well, that was like the big, like the rumors that were swirling was like Microsoft is going to put xCloud on your Nintendo Switch, which like that'd be a great idea. That'd be awesome. But will it happen anytime soon? I don't think it would ever happen on a PlayStation, you know?
Nah, probably not.
But would it maybe happen on a Switch where like Microsoft and Nintendo make this weird symbiotic relationship where they're like, hey, your Switch can't play anything super powerful. So if you want the real current gen games, you can play them through xCloud on your Switch.
Which, I mean, they've kind of experimented with that sort of thing with the Switch anyways, you know, streaming certain games. So, like, why not just have a more reliable platform that is not focused on a single game itself, but rather a library of games, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm sure Microsoft can figure out a way to cut, you know, the Nintendo people in on the profit they make off of the service itself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I don't know. Data's so cheap, like, I mean, I say that, but obviously it's not that cheap because Comcast is raising all their fucking rates. But like, data is so cheap that, you know, the server space that Microsoft, and they're running all their own private servers using Azure or whatever. Like, it's got to cost them next to nothing. And so like the money they make off of the service alone it has to be an insane amount.
you would think it would be, I mean, I don't know. That's the thing, because we still don't really have a great idea of like how they are paying the people who put these games up on their services. You know, like a lot of their first party stuff. How much money are they losing from having Gears of War 5 available on Game Pass day and date as opposed to just selling it, you know?
Right.
So, you know, you have to assume there's a good amount of people who like never would have bought the game, but will play it if it's out here for free, or, you know, are they capturing more of the
people that are going to play the game, like the people who want Gears of War 5 will pay for it and they'll just pay outright for the game and play it no matter what. But then you're also getting the residual, like those people who like don't want to spend the money on a game necessarily, but they see that it's free to them on the service that they pay for. And so they're like, yeah, okay. You know, it's same thing as Netflix. Like, I don't necessarily like want to watch this one TV show, but because it's here and I've got nothing better to do with my time, like, why not just watch it? and then you do.
But
Like it's the same idea.
You have to assume that there might be some people out there who purchased Game Pass and would have been somebody who would buy, say, Forza Horizon 3 or 4 and Gears of War 5 in whatever calendar year they came out in. Now that's somebody who you're not making any extra money off of. Like, you basically, for the price of $120 a year, have given them the 2 games that they would have bought with that $120. But now they also have access to all of this other stuff that Microsoft could have made money off of, right?
I wonder if they pay people based off the amount of time they spend playing a specific game. Like if you only play a game for 10 minutes, is that that developer only getting paid for like the 10 minutes of time that you spent playing a specific game? Like it's an hourly rate or whatever. And then once you hit the $60 mark, like you no longer get paid for like that particular game from that particular user. But the next user that picks it up, like maybe it starts over with that, you know what I mean? Like
I don't know, we don't know. There's like literally no detail out there on it, so it'd be interesting to kind of hear about some of these deals. But it's the same thing with like games that get released for free on PS Now, like Rocket League and stuff like that, and that's one of the successes. But there's other games that have done the same thing that have not been the big smash hit like Rocket League. So it's really curious to understand how a lot of this stuff works and whether or not it's as exorbitant as, say, something like a Spotify where the artists are getting paid fractions of a penny on the play, So anyway, a couple other stories here. We learned that IO Interactive is going to be making the next James Bond game. So John, you posted this one and we're very excited about it, and I think nobody else was excited about it, so you were kind of sad.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that this company who makes the Hitman games is going to get like a legitimate franchise beyond Hitman to do something really cool with. Like I think this is awesome. I don't know what kind of game it's going to be. I would assume it'll, it's probably going to be very similar to Hitman in some respect, but I could see it having some really cool car chase scenes. I could see it like, I don't know. I think this is going to be really cool. Like you have a developer who's known for doing this sort of thing, and they're given the opportunity to work with like an extremely popular franchise and like make something cool out of it. Like I dig that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
I'm very curious because I know that like from some of the stuff that I've watched with Giant Bomb, because they make some pretty entertaining Hitman content, the way that they were showing the game off. There's a good amount of silliness in the Hitman games, so I think some of the concern is like how silly is the James Bond property going to allow them to be with James Bond?
Right. Well, they have this, like, they're calling it Project 007, I'm sure, because like it doesn't have an official title yet or whatever. But what if it's an online game? Like, what if everybody gets to play some form of 007 agent and like you got to hunt each other down in the world or some shit? Like, what if it's like that?
So they do say here on the site that it's featuring a wholly original Bond story. Players will step into the shoes of the world's favorite secret agent to earn their 00 status in the very first James Bond origin story. So it does sound like it is very much a single player. There's at least going to be a single player narrative to it.
That's really cool. That sounds awesome.
Which is kind of different. I mean, Hitman has story to it, but it's never really been like these more recent ones have not really been like the story content. Like people aren't playing it for the narrative necessarily. They're playing it for a lot of
the sandbox
and the replayability that you get with some of the missions that they send people out on. So I think it's a really cool pairing, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. But it's nice that like we've gone to the point where like IO was being sold by Square Enix and didn't know if they were going to have the Hitman franchise anymore, and now they're big enough for the 007 people to be like, hey, let's make a video game with these guys. So that's good. I'm glad that
I mean, I'm sure IO approached everybody involved with James Bond and was like, hey, we've got this really fucking good idea. Here's the games we've done in the past, but we want to take it a little more seriously. And then they were just like, okay, take the franchise and go with it. See what happens.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty natural pairing. We'll just have to see kind of what the final product really ends up being. But
Absolutely.
Let's talk about rave planets in No Man's Sky. Apparently, players have built these large rave planets in the latest or in many versions of No Man's Sky. But the Polygon article says in late 2019 they added a synthesizer to the space game, so you can make your own melodies. And apparently there are people out there just making rave planets where you can come and check out bioluminescent worlds and listen to some sweet music and party.
Apparently some of them have working games you can play too.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. I really would love to hop back into this, but I haven't done it as of yet.
I booted it up after the most recent update where they updated like the planets, the biomes, like there's more biomes and just better graphics and stuff in general. And it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's very colorful and
I know that
amazing looking.
I installed it on my PC shortly after getting the Index because I wanted to try out the VR, but I haven't done that as of yet. So
you should do that.
Yeah, I really should. But no, this looks really cool. And it's nice to see that people are being creative with this game because I'm glad that No Man's Sky had has had the long life that we were all hoping it would, even though the beginning was a bit rockier than we expected or wanted it to be.
Yeah, I wish it were like this from the beginning, but at the same time, it's nice that they just keep adding to it. Because I mean, it was definitely, I personally was very disappointed with it when I first got it, but obviously they've added enough to it to where I wanted to play it again because I bought it again on a different platform.
Yeah,
on sale, but still. Yeah, they've done a good job with it though. There's a lot of stuff I haven't really even dabbled in yet. Like you can make your own mechs, I think now, and there's just a lot more options for building out bases, and like I said, the biomes, ghost ships, I guess.
Yeah,
the Desolation expansion or whatever.
And they made those like organic ships too, right? Like the alien ships that you can grow, I believe.
So. It's just, I mean, this game has kind of gone above and beyond like what I think anybody expected after that launch.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But it's pretty rad. I haven't touched it in a while, but there was a minute where I was like back into it. Like I still feel like it kind of needs a little more direction as to like what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's fun if you set out to just do the sandbox stuff, but it would be like if you are looking for more of like a directive, like it's kind of there, but it could use a little more for those sorts of players, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to understand more about like what that narrative arc of like reach the center of the universe or whatever turned into after these updates. If they've really done anything much with it, and whether or not it just like, I believe I remember hearing that earlier on, when you reach the center planet or whatever, or the center solar system, whatever it is, then it would basically just start you out on the same journey again or something of that nature, which sounded very dissatisfying to me.
I mean, anything's more satisfying than Star Trek V, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
No, it'd be interesting to see where they go with it from here too. Like what is this going to become? Are they going to add stuff so it's more like, you know, EVE Online or Elite Dangerous, where there's more of an economy and like, you know, I don't think they'll put in like the permadeath stuff or anything like that, like with the ships, but maybe they do. I don't know. Like maybe you can play on a permadeath server where like when someone destroys all your shit, it's gone. Like
racing for pink slips.
What I would like to see is multiplayer ships.
To be able to build a fleet or something like that.
Like a Sea of Thieves situation. Be on the same ship, other than a freighter, which you can't directly control. Yeah, like be like a crew together, like MGMP, like in space in the same ship, like the Millennium Falcon kind of thing.
One of us is on the turrets and the other one's piloting, and somebody's like navigating or something like that. Yeah, that'd be pretty rad. I'd be down for that.
I don't think any of the space games have that.
No.
And it's a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be fun. Absolutely. So I feel like if any game's going to get there, it would be this one. So. All right. And then finally, CD Projekt Red has, if I can ever get rid of this ad thing, CD Projekt Red has officially revealed console footage of their games in the past week or so. And according to their CEO, things are running surprisingly good for such a huge world on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, or on the base, actually, the base PS4 and Xbox One. Presumably those run worse than they would on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, but the fact that it seems playable, at least, I think is good. I don't know if they actually showed the base level stuff or not. Do you guys know? I'm not sure what's out there.
I don't know.
If I recall correctly, from the PS4 video, they showed the base model PS4, PS4 Pro, and PS5.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's cool then.
And it just kind of seamlessly transitions, like as they're flipping through like scenes or whatever, like it shows you like up in the corner which model is currently playing.
Nice. Yeah, looking at this video, I think it looks pretty nice on the Pro.
Yeah, honestly, the difference between the Pro and the 5 wasn't terribly noticeable to me from the footage, other than like the Pro, maybe the textures are lower quality, but yeah, I don't know. The game looks damn good. I'm very excited that it's finally coming out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters what platform you're going to play it on. It's going to look great no matter what. So,
yeah, and I mean, even from the recommended specs that they ended up putting out for the ray tracing, the fact that it's running on on a couple generations older Intel chip, that's pretty good. It does seem like they do say a 3080 is recommended for ultra ray tracing settings, which is not surprising.
Done.
But we're there, so
I'm ready. It's the whole point in having this stupid card that's caused me so many problems.
So no, I think it's good that it looks like it's going to run well. So it looks like this video does only show PS4 Pro and PS5. So
I thought it showed the regular PS4 as well, but
it does not look like we've seen what the base models can actually do as of yet. But hopefully the CEO is being truthful, and hopefully it does run pretty well.
Yeah, it looks like Final Fantasy VII on Windows.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's good. Hopefully it comes out next month, like they say it's going to. I know everybody's like, oh, there's discs out there in the wild, bro. That means it's coming. It's like, no, that means like they shipped those discs out and they came out for the November release, and then they decided it still needed time. Like if you put that disc in your PlayStation right now, what are you getting? You get like a smiley face GIF or something that says,
and then it deletes
download the day one
PlayStation
patch.
5.
Yeah, probably.
Drive or SSD.
Like if you think that the full game is sitting there on that disc, you're going to be sorely mistaken, because it's not the case. That's what they were ready to release like several months ago, which apparently, and I don't believe was even like the full game at that time either. You know, like all these games, you have to download stuff after you install it anyway. So
no, I mean, it's crazy to think what was it? Is 4-week extension essentially, like from the 19th to the 10th?
I think it was 3. I think it was 21 days.
3 weeks, yeah.
And just in those like 2 weeks since that delay, like what they've shown off, like makes me believe that it'll come out on the 10th. Like it's done, it's ready.
Should we make a bet?
You want to bet? You want to bet it does or does not come out on the 10th?
Yeah. What's our bet gonna be? What do we?
It should involve playing a game.
All right. If the game does not come out on the 10th, then I win. If it comes out after December 10th, by any amount, even if they're like, oh, sorry, we got to delay it for a day because we didn't upload the thing soon enough, then that means I would win. and you guys have to watch The Pest with me whenever the pandemic is over, and we're gonna record a commentary for it that we'll put on.
I'll take
the film
that. I'll
Nerds.
watch that.
All
I
right.
thought you were going to tell me I have to beat Spelunky. I was going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
No. That's okay. So what? All right. So what if you win, John, and it does come out on the 10th?
If it comes
or
out
earlier?
on the 10th, I don't know. Then you, you have to do the raid in Destiny, the new raid.
Which means you'd have to level up a lot and also buy the expansion. So that's kind of that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. I don't know if I can commit to that.
Did you download Elite Dangerous?
I did download Elite Dangerous.
All right. If it comes out on the 10th, then we have to actually play Elite Dangerous.
Okay. I'll play it. How about this? We have to play it, and we'll play it together, but then also I'll play it in VR and record like me doing insane flips and spins in the ship to see if I have to throw up.
Throwing up.
It's not the game. The ships in that game are not that maneuverable. You won't get sick. It's not like playing
Squadrons.
I don't know. Squadrons would probably be more sickness inducing in VR. But I mean, you should try that game in VR. I wish I could.
Yeah, I really need to. So, all right. Well, there's our bet. So if I win, we're watching The Pest, and if John wins, we're playing Elite Dangerous, which
we might do anyways.
Yeah. But that's okay. We'll see. We'll see how the chips fall.
Yeah, that's it for this week, right?
I believe
That's
so.
the last one.
Yep.
All right.
2 weeks from now puts us supposedly 3 days post Cyberpunk release.
We'll be able to give you our first impressions if it comes out.
Yes.
Assuming I've slept enough to podcast, I'll have a lot to say about it, I think.
Could be a problem. I might even consider taking some time. I'm not going to take release day off, but maybe I'll take the 11th off and be like, all right, I can actually play this for a full 8 hours at least and get some good time into it. So we'll see.
I don't know how much of the videos you guys have watched of like the extra gameplay footage and everything like that. Like
pretty much
0.
It's I think a lot of people are going to be very disappointed with the speed of the game.
Just like, in terms of like,
I don't think that people like that fringe group of like, oh, hey, have you ever heard of Cyberpunk? Like those people.
There's this game called Cyberpunk coming out.
It looks really cool.
I don't know if you've heard of it or not.
Of people, they're going to be sorely disappointed with how a traditional, like true role-playing game is meant to be played. Because I don't think you can play this game like Doom or Halo.
It'll be interesting to see. Like, honestly, like I think it's one of those things where if that's really the case, you'll see the games press come out and be like, this game's amazing. And then there'll be some big backlash of like, no, this shit's boring, bro. But I don't know. I have a feeling that like the people who are really truly anticipating Cyberpunk right now, I think by now know what this game is going to be, but I could be wrong.
My only concern, the only thing that I'm worried I'm going to be disappointed by is the driving. Because it looks like there's a lot of driving in the game, and I'm worried it's not going to feel good.
There's only a lot of driving if you choose to drive. You can walk everywhere if you want.
Well, that's stupid. I mean, why would I want to walk everywhere?
But also, like I think they were explaining in one of the other like video, like one of the Night City Wires, is that in this game, like the difference between like this and The Witcher, when you're traversing from one location to the next, is that you're in a living, breathing city, and like you're not gonna have monsters running out of the woods to fucking kill you. Like you get involved as much as you want to get involved in the things around you, whereas like in The Witcher, like when you're traveling from one town to the next, like something could come out of the woods and like try and kill you. Like
there's probably still going to be gangs, like there are groups of
but again, like
and stuff.
you get as involved as you want to get in those particular things in this. Whereas like in The
True.
Witcher, like you could just run from those things that come out of the woods to kill you, but
Yeah, that's
like
what using the horse is for.
right. So like if you're fast
Roach.
traveling by using a car to in Night City, like I'm sure it's probably a lot quicker to get from A to B, but I feel like you might be missing some of those cool little like side piece interactions that
Yeah.
like might happen, like between random NPCs that I mean if was it somebody else posted the size of the script for this game was like a fucking I mean it was like a pile of papers cuz like there's
Yeah.
so much fucking dialogue for everything.
Well, and
Mhm.
somebody, apparently one of the people that's been playing it has put like 127 hours into the game and isn't even finished with it. So
That was one of the devs too.
I
Like
put
he
way
knows
more
his
than
way
that
around the game.
into The Witcher 3. I put up like 160 before I finished the game.
Yeah, I put about 5 minutes in and then it crashed.
We got to figure that out.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I wonder if it's something like LA Noire where I think you were able to just hit a button where it kind of like auto drives you to places.
Possibly.
And maybe you'll just
Yeah,
be
I mean
sitting
they
there
added that
listening
to Assassin's Creed too.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs has that too, Legion.
I like that function. Like
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
So then if it's just like you sitting there having the conversation with whoever's in the car with you or whatever, that, we'll see. Or if you're like, once you're done with the conversation, if it fades to black and fades back up or whatever it's going to be, I guess we'll have to see.
In the newer videos, I feel like it's a little spoilery, but they did explain the role that Keanu Reeves plays in the game, and that was kind of surprising to me, and also I think it's really cool. I don't really want to talk about it too much because if you didn't watch those videos on purpose to not know, then I feel like I shouldn't talk about it.
I think we talked about it in the past because I'm pretty sure I knew about it. Because
Gotcha.
he's essentially like some kind of figment of your imagination, kind of, right?
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Fine,
So,
you can spoil it then.
pretty
I
sure
didn't
it's
know
out
that.
there.
And
Well,
I think
you
it's
just
pretty neat.
that means you
Did you
didn't
guys know
listen to
that-
me when I was talking about it.
Did you know that Keanu Reeves himself is actually part of the original Cyberpunk lore of the tabletop RPG?
No.
Really?
But
Is
that's
that where they
awesome.
got the idea from?
He's written into the lore of the game by the original game maker. Like he's part of it. Like so Johnny Silverhand is like a descendant of Keanu Reeves.
Was this
Interesting.
before or after he escaped the Matrix?
I don't know.
Okay. Just making
It's
sure.
only in the reality of the Matrix.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like between filming Point Break and whatever else.
Cool.
So
No,
but yeah, he's
it's-
actually like part of the lore, which is super cool.
But I think aren't there other people who can be that figment too for you? At least I guess maybe that's only in
I
the
don't
tabletop.
think so.
Yeah, maybe that's only in the tabletop version of the game.
Well, if it's like falling into like that sort of altered carbon style of like shit where like people's consciousness are like uploaded to chips or whatever, like anybody
That's
could
what
be
it is.
Yeah, like it could be anybody, like even your homeboy Jackie, who's like your number one companion in the game, like could be a figment of your imagination, I suppose, but he's not. Like he's actually physically in the game, like for you to talk to and send off to kill things.
Not to talk more about a game that isn't even out yet and may not be out till 2077. But I am curious, have you guys already if you've watched the videos, you know about like the starting paths, like life paths or whatever.
I've heard about it. I haven't watched the videos.
I've already decided where I want to start, so that's pretty fun.
You're talking about like, do you want to be a country boy? Do you want to be a city boy?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a preppy?
What is it? The nomad, the corpo, and what's the third one?
It was in that video that
I don't
pulled up.
remember.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't.
I wanted to start as a nomad and like work my way into the city.
That's what I want to do.
I
Plus,
feel
you
like
get a free car.
I thought
Yeah.
I was gonna be a corpo, maybe, but I don't know. I haven't really decided.
we should all do different life paths so we have different starting experiences. So whatever you choose, Alex, I'll choose the one that's not.
Okay, I can do that. I'm fine with
that way. Like, I want us to each have a different experience. I think that will add to the podcast when we come to talk about it, like having a different starting experience for each of us. And that way we're not like, oh, hey, did you get to this part? Like, we don't have to be like that. I hate that shit. Plus, I think that'll help us. Like, we won't have to be like, oh, hey, did you get to this part? It'll be more like, hey, I did this one thing. Like, it was really fucking cool. And then you could be like, oh, I also did that. But from this perspective, it had this effect, yada, yada.
So Brian's taking the Nomad, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If you guys
we'll figure out what the other two
are.
I don't care. That's fine with me.
Yeah, you can be a Nomad. And then Alex, if you want to be the Corpo, I'll be the third one.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. I feel like such an ass. I'm like super obsessed with this game and I don't even fucking know the starting pass. But anyways.
What if it had cross save? Would you just get it on PlayStation 5 and PC?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. Because then I could still play it when I'm downstairs hanging out with the baby or whatever. I brought the I'll be honest with you, the only reason the PS5's upstairs right now is because I was trying to play Demon Souls and there was so much fucking glare from the front window of the house that I could not see anything in the game. I should just leave it up here in all seriousness, but
I mean,
it's
that
nice.
TV is really good too.
It is. It's really nice having it downstairs though, because then I can just hang out with Megan and the baby and like play video games, and it's not a big deal. Like up here, like I'm isolated from them, which is good in a certain way, but also like kind of sucks because then I don't get to spend time with them. So, but it's a street kid, Corpo, Nomad, and street kid. So I'll be the street kid. Alex, you can be the Corpo, and Brian, you can be the Nomad.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's it for this week. If you want to follow us on social media or see other places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGamers.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon. Thanks again to Jason K, Tom Z, Chris K, and Alan K for the contributions. We love you guys. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us for your favorite podcatcher. Also, we're Twitch affiliates. You can subscribe using your Amazon Prime subscription on Twitch for a free sub, or feel free to sub on Twitch anyways, like just because you want to, because that's the cool thing to do nowadays with all these young kids, these young whippersnappers and their hobbies. While you're playing the Fortnites and stuff, you know,
Pac-Man video games and hula hoops.
You pack the Zima and Pac-Man video games and hula hoops. Kids these days have attention spans that are measured in nanoseconds. If you can name that movie, I'll send you a T-shirt. Beyond that, another shout out to Role Playing, the guys' podcast, another podcast that we kind of teamed up with. I keep forgetting to send Alex the file to put their bumper at the show, so I feel really bad. But I just wanted to shout them out real fast. Role Playing, and they're actually one of the bigger D&D podcasts that shows up on the D&D subreddit if you pay attention to that kind of stuff. So, yeah, definitely check them out. Check out Multimedia and. Yeah, we'll see you guys next time talking Multimedium. Sorry, I came up with the name too, and I couldn't. What the hell's wrong?
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Yeah, check those out, and then next time we will see you to talk about some Cyberpunk. That's all we have for today. See you next time. Peace.